Hey everyone, so today we're going to be taking a look at two new MoYu puzzles. So here we have the Aofu GTSM 7x7 and then also the Cubing Classroom MF3RS3M. So I just want to go ahead and get started with this first. I've really been excited for this since the MF3RS2 was so good. I think for me, it definitely needed some time for me to get used to it, but in the end it was ultimately a really great budget 3x3. So let's just go ahead and check this one out. Alright, so here it is. Right off the bat, the stickerless shades look a little wonky, but we'll get into the turning in a second. So we have some spare magnets. Ooh, we have a really cool new stand. I've never seen that before. Alright, that's really cool. And then also just like the regular cards and also a screwdriver in there. But let's just go ahead and get into the actual puzzle. Alright, so here is the puzzle. Yeah, the yellow I definitely don't really prefer. It's a little bit too dull and pastel looking for me. But other than that, the sticker shades look pretty okay. So let's just go ahead and get into the turning of this thing. Wow. Compared to the MF3RS2, it's definitely much faster out of the box, which I do prefer. For me, the speed was definitely one of the main issues I had with the MF3RS2. Wow, I'm really liking this so far. The feeling right now is definitely dry, like all other MoYu puzzles out of the box. But I can tell with some setting up, this can be a really enjoyable cube to solve on. The magnets themselves are definitely very light. If I didn't know this was magnetic, I honestly wouldn't be able to feel them. Only when you're purposely trying to feel for the magnets can you actually distinguish that slight little bump to it. But I think it definitely is doing something to help with stability. But yeah, overall the feeling is just very enjoyable. Tensions are kind of where I would want them, but it's a little tight doing 45-degree corner cutting. Reverse is very easy to do, pretty much on par with any other 3x3 nowadays. But yeah, so far, I actually really love the feeling of this. I'm really excited to set this one up because I do think it has a lot of potential. I just want to go ahead and crack open the mechanism for a second, actually. Alright, so that edge piece is definitely far more complicated than the MF3RS2. The corners, wow, that's a totally new design. Yeah, it's just kind of unbelievable that this is actually a budget cube, but the design and mechanism is just so intricate, very complex looking. Yeah, the feeling of this cube I just really enjoy. Compared to the MF3RS2, this one just suits me and my preferences a little bit better. It's kind of hard to describe the feeling, actually. The MF3RS2 was just a little bit too sluggish, and you could tell that there was a lot of friction between the pieces, but this one just really glides, and you can tell it can be a really buttery smooth puzzle. It just kind of has that spongy and the springiness to it. It's kind of hard to put my finger on it, but I definitely do prefer this over the MF3RS2. So I will set this up and just see how it turns out, but just based on my first impressions, definitely a really great budget cube from Cubing Classroom. Alright, now for the Aofu GTSM 7x7. It's been quite a while since MoYu has released a 7x7. So we'll just see how this one is. The last one they released was the cubic Aofu, which was years ago. So let's just go ahead and see what they've done to revamp the Aofu. So it looks like we got a stickerless one here. So we have the cube, of course, the cards and everything, and also some spare magnets, which is really nice. Alright, and so here it is. Wow, I really love the size. Definitely just a little bit smaller than the previous cubic Aofu. Compared to a Wuji, I think it is just a little bit smaller as well. But let's just go ahead and get into the turning of this thing. Alright, first impressions, and just immediately right off the bat, definitely feels like the Aofu GTSM 6x6. It has that same sort of stable, bubbly feeling, Wow, I really like this so far, actually. For me, the biggest problem that I have with 7x7 and pretty much just all big cubes is that I can't really control the layers. You know, if I'm turning maybe the second layer or just the outer layer, I just worry about all the other layers moving around with it. But with this one, it keeps its stability really, really well, which is also why I like the Aofu GTSM 6x6. So it definitely holds the same characteristics as that puzzle, and just the overall feeling too. It feels very similar for some reason. Yeah, it's very rare that I see myself comfortable using and handling a 7x7. But this one, it's really nice and stable and it's easy to control. But it does have a slight blocky and just an overall very, very stable feeling that I also find in the Aofu GTSM. So I'm not really sure if that's something that world class or really the top 7x7 solvers will really enjoy. So I can't really speak to that, but at least for me, who is a very, very decent and average 7x7 solver, I really do like this cube out of the box. Yeah, I would say tensions are pretty tight, but it does a pretty okay amount of corner cutting. Reverse, not so much. But yeah, I'm just really impressed by this thing. I've had the Cosmic Chi Wuji M for the longest time, and it is kind of slowing down on me because of how much I've used it over the past years. But this one I really do enjoy. The feeling of the magnets themselves, they're noticeable, but when you're solving, you can't really feel the distinct bump there. It's really just there for the stability purposes. And so, yeah, the strengths are just how I like it. It's stronger in the innermost layer, and it kind of just decreases in strengths from there. So yeah, I love that the outer layer has the weakest magnets, just because it really does help with 3x3 stage. You don't have to worry about the outer layer dragging the inner layer along with it. So yeah, just out of the box impressions, I'm really, really liking the 7x7 so far, and I can't wait to go ahead and break it in. So definitely some extremely impressive puzzles from MoYu. The Aofu GTSM 7x7 is very likely going to be my new main. I just really love the feeling of it, so I'm excited to break it in, set it up, and just see how it gets from there. The MF3RS3M, I definitely see this being one of the top budget 3x3s. Even if you do really like the MF3RS2, I do recommend giving this one a shot. I think it just has a new, kind of refreshing feeling to it. It's kind of unique. So yeah, definitely one of the better budget 3x3s out there right now. But yeah, that is going to do it for this unboxing. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. But I'll see you guys in the next video.